Hi guys, welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host, Nicole, and we are back with another episode, and I'm so excited for this episode. I'm actually recording this a week in advance, so I haven't been to LA yet. It's not Livy's birthday yet. I just wanted to get ahead of the game, record this. This episode is actually something that is so important to me because it's something that I majorly struggle with, and I have to constantly remind myself, especially now that you guys know I have my bikini and fitness competition coming up on July 6th. It's almost, just about 2 weeks out. And I've been going really hard in the gym. I've been doing 2-a-days. I've been making sure to stay really active, eat really clean. All of that in combination with like the podcast, YouTube, TikTok, all my social media platforms, and some stuff I have going on behind the scenes, a lot of filming, a lot of editing. And you guys constantly ask me what is the hardest part about being an influencer. And I just want to say, I know I don't have the hardest job in the world. I'm extremely lucky, extremely blessed, and I love this job with everything in my bones, which is why I chose to do it. And it's by no means an easy job either. It takes a lot of fucking work and dedication. And the thing that I struggle with most is rest. I never take a day off. I never know how to take a day off. And it's really hard for me to rest. I feel lazy when I rest. I feel like I'm not doing enough constantly, especially in this industry where there's always going to be someone with more followers than me. There's always going to be somebody putting out more content than me. There's more content than me. There's always going to be somebody who, is like gaining more traction than me or something. And it's really hard for me not to compare sometimes. And that's something I talked about in 2 episodes ago. So if you haven't listened to that, please listen to that because I feel like it'll kind of intertwine with today's episode about being okay with taking a step back, resting, taking days off, having your rot days, and fighting those feelings of I'm not doing enough. Because I promise you, if you're giving it your 100%, you're doing enough. Every day you're getting up, you're doing your stuff, you're doing enough. I'm always wanting to give more. I'm always wanting to do more, but sometimes less is more. Sometimes it's good for us to take breaks because then we're able to reset and then come back better. And I often forget that, especially when it comes to working out. It's like, I don't really take days off ever. I don't, because moving my body is what makes me feel my best. And I have days where I'm not going so crazy in the gym, but like I rarely take a day to just rot. I think yesterday was the first day that I didn't post on TikTok, but it's like I was posting on Snapchat all day and Instagram all day and working on making sure that the podcast was up. So it's really hard for me to go out, and I'm not expecting you guys to feel bad. This is my truth, is that it's really hard for me to like enjoy out and to go out and enjoy things and not film. Like when I'm getting ready, I feel like if I don't film, I'm missing out a piece of content. If I'm going out to eat and if I don't film, I feel like that was a waste. If I really like try a new workout class, go to workout, and I don't film it, sometimes I'm like, oh, like this would have been great to show people. I love sharing my life with you guys, but I neglect to take care of myself sometimes and set boundaries for myself. And I think that boundaries are huge when you are trying to rest. And it's important to tell yourself it's okay to take a day off. Today, my boundary is I'm not going to go on my phone. I'm not going to, or if I do, I'm setting a time limit, and I'm setting a time limit to 30 minutes to scroll on Instagram or 30 minutes to scroll on TikTok or something like that. And putting that aside and taking care of your own needs and doing something for yourself to put your mind at ease and to really rest. Because a lot of the times when I'm scrolling, for me at least, it almost feels a little bit like work, or I'm getting ideas and I'm like, I want to make that video, or I'm getting a content idea for this, and then my head starts spinning and then I'm writing stuff down, or then I see somebody else who's posted something or posted that day, and then I start to feel bad that I didn't. Or I see somebody post something and it gets a lot of likes or something like that, or a piece of content as well, and then I'm like, well, I'm not doing enough because I'm not doing that, and now how dare I take a day off? How dare I sit back and enjoy and not record? Or somebody is like doing, posting like on a different platform that I don't have. And I'm like, well, should I be doing that? Like, those are things that I'm constantly struggling with. And it's really hard for me just to sit back and relax. And it's so funny because I'm turning into my mother. I used to make fun of my mother so much. Like, she would cook dinner and then she would never sit down at the table with us. I'm sure you guys have moms like that too. She would cook dinner and then we'd all sit down and then she'd be up in like 5 seconds doing something, cleaning a dish, dusting something off. She forgot something. She needs to grab this. She needs to grab that. Like, she's so bad at sitting still. To watch a movie with the lady is impossible. Like, she's constantly getting up, doing like, and now I'm like, I'm just like that. There's been so many times where I sit on my couch and then I start looking around and I'm like, well, I should do that, or I should do that, or I should do that. But it's like, God damn, sometimes you just got to take a rest, and that's okay. And we need to stop feeling like in these moments that we're resting, that we're wasting time, because that's not a waste of time. It's absolutely necessary. It's necessary to our human existence to take rest. Rest is also like taking a step back and being like, I've done all the things that I can do in my control. Some of these things are out of my control. You know, if I'm like, I've posted today, I've done my posts, I've done my work. I don't need to make another video because somebody else did. You know, now I have to let those videos do their thing. Now I have to let my brain rest. Part of it is knowing like, I did do enough. I did enough for today. When I'm not working, when I'm resting, and this goes into my faith, God is working for me. He's taking care of things. This is going for stuff that's happening in your life too that you can't control. Something at work happens and you have to like, so a project's messed up and you fix it and you hand it off. That's all you can do. Now it's time just to like relax and let the rest take care of itself. Or like your flight gets canceled, your plane gets delayed. Okay, I did all the necessary things that I could do to help myself, to help other people who are involved in the situation. But now it's like, what am I going to do? Fly the plane myself? What am I going to do? Call up the pilot myself? Fix the plane myself? No. You just have to rest and just trust that that thing happened for a reason, and something's happening in the background that's better and bigger. And you know what? It doesn't always make sense right in the moment, but it does eventually. And then if you look at things, you know, in hindsight, if you look at things like, is this going to affect my life in a week? Is this going to affect my life, honestly, just a couple hours from now? Is this going to affect my life 2 months from now? No, probably not. So just rest, just relax, just like lean into it. Like take that delay, take that canceled flight and be like, okay, this just gives me more time. This gives me another day. This gives me time to do this or that. Do what you can, but then be okay with things being out of your control sometimes, and just leaning into it and relaxing and resting and not feeling like you have to be go to be doing something or to feel like you're feeling accomplished. Like that's my thing. It's like, if I feel like if I'm not stressed out, if I feel like I'm not doing the most every single day, like the second I have free time, I'm like, what am I, a lazy piece of shit? What am I doing? Like, it's okay to have some free time. It's okay to rest. That doesn't mean that you're not doing enough. That doesn't mean that you're not successful. That doesn't mean that you're being lazy or the things that you've done aren't going to come to fruition. They will. A lot of it is just patience and sitting back and knowing that like doing one extra thing or two extra things sometimes, or stressing yourself, isn't the answer and isn't going to get you anywhere, and it might end up backtracking you. So recognizing the times that you can rest and release control and just relax and grant yourself that privilege and that opportunity to do so, because you need that just as much as like, you know, all these other things are important and doing all these things. So is just relaxing. Sometimes we miss out on that. Like we talk so much about like fitness and eating healthy and working out, but how about sleep? Sleep's the most important thing. If we're not sleeping, we can't do any of those things. So why aren't we like prioritizing that? And I feel like that's not talked about enough either. It's like how important that is. So that just goes to show how important rest is to functioning. For me, rest means putting down boundaries. Shut off my brain and not scroll on TikTok. Like, don't ingest so much social media. Maybe I read a book. Maybe I just lay on the couch. Maybe I watch TV. Just limiting my time and how much I'm consuming, because if I look at it, how that's affecting my brain, like, and it's turning on my brain, and I feel like now my thoughts are spinning, and especially before bed. And then I can't sleep because I start thinking about content I want to create or what somebody else did, and I'm comparing myself. Like, that's not good. So for me, like a boundary would be like limiting my social media time, and also who I follow and what I follow. And we've talked about that too when we were talking about comparing ourselves to other people. Is this content fueling me, or is this content draining me? Is this content making me feel good, or is it making me feel bad? So also a boundary of like who I follow and what I'm consuming is really important, and to feeling like I can rest. And that's just the same thing with like your energy, like protecting your energy. Make sure that like the people that you are consuming, whether it's on social media, the people that you're interacting with on social media or in real life, are a good use of your energy and filling you up just as much as you are filling them up, because everything's an energy exchange. And that's really important. You don't want to be leaving social situations with people where you feel really, really drained. And then it's like, well, they took everything I had. They took all of me. They took my soul. And now you have to rest extra hard, or you're just stressed out, or you felt like that was a waste of time. So really being pickier with who you're giving your energy to is crucial, because there is some situations, social situations, where I can go into and I can leave completely drained. And then if it was a different group of people, I would leave just feeling so good and inspired and happy and fulfilled and excited and energized. And that's two different groups of people. So recognize that, and who makes you feel your best version of yourself and who makes you feel the worst. And that's a great boundary to put down to help you not feel so like anxious, or feel so like full of like, I need to be doing things constantly, or now I'm like extremely tired. So just really look at like what your triggers are, and look at the people who are triggering you. So the rest part, like, we get, right? I'm just sitting here telling you, like, rest. You got to rest. You got to put down your boundaries in place and make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. That's how we rest. To rest is just to rest. There's no like tips on how to do so, really. It's just like, allow yourself that space. What I really want to get into is combating those feelings of I'm not doing enough, because that constantly fills my brain. Some things that you can do to feel like, to kind of put a halt to those thoughts, those negative thoughts, is one, little affirmations. Like, have your affirmations. On days where you're feeling like I'm not doing enough, like, your affirmation should be, I am doing enough. That effort was enough. I am somebody who works really hard. I am somebody who is an inspiration. I put my all into everything that I do. I am a hard worker. I show up for people. I show up for myself. These are great affirmations to tell yourself. What I think is important to that is to say that there's no timeline for success. There's no deadline. Nobody's sitting there being like, if you don't do that, if you don't accomplish that goal in 1 year, you're a loser, or you didn't do enough, or you're not doing enough. As long as you're taking the steps to do things, there's no timeline. Nobody's holding you to anything, and everything's happening at the right time for you. It was like, I used to beat myself up for not starting this podcast sooner. But then when I look back at it, I'm like, I'm so happy I started it. Like, I had to give myself that little push. I was always doing things to start it, but it was like, when it did start, I was also kind of like, it started at the right time. If I jumped into it when I wanted to, I wouldn't have the cover art that I wanted. I wouldn't have had the name that I wanted. I wouldn't be the person that I am. Like, I think when I wanted to start it, I was going through a lot of things. And that's kind of why, because I felt like I wasn't offering the world enough things, or I didn't feel like I was enough. So I was like, oh, let me just add a podcast to thing. And I didn't want to start the podcast with the intention of like, I want to help people. It was like, I'm doing it for me because I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I don't feel like just having TikTok is enough of a platform for me to feel good about myself. That's why it never really came to fruition, because I think it was like, I felt like I had to start the podcast, and not that I was at a place that I was ready to start it. And things kept happening to delay that, and internally I was delaying as well. And that's because I wasn't ready. And then when I was ready, and when it did happen, it happened perfectly. And I'm so happy with how the podcast turned out and how I showed up, and the version of me that showed up to be your podcast host, to be Nicole, the one that talks to you every Tuesday in your ears. I'm proud of like every podcast episode that I've put out there. And I may have not been proud if I had started 2 years ago. I don't know what the mission would have been. I don't know if I would have been clear in the direction where I was going. So I needed that time. So I think like it's important to remember that you're not, Rome wasn't built in a day. Whatever the goal that you want isn't happening right now, that's okay. It is happening. There's no like end point to when is enough. Like, say like for me, it was like, oh, I want, when I used to have 300K followers, I was like, I need 400K followers. It's like, okay, then I get 400K followers. That doesn't mean that my career is over. Yes, I am successful, but it's not like I'm going to stop there. That's not my peak. Once you get that, then you want more. It's like I hit 400K. Okay, now I want 500K. So knowing also that there's never really an end, there's always going to be more. You're always going to want more. The version of success, the thing that you have in your mind that's like, that's my version of success, or that's what I need to feel successful, I guarantee you once you get that thing, you're going to want something more. That's like that little devil on our shoulders. That's like, we're not doing enough, but it's like, you got that thing. And when you do reach your goal, whatever it is, celebrate that. And that's what I was saying, like, celebrate the little wins, celebrate that, sit in it for a minute and be like, wow, I did a lot. That's amazing. I'm so proud of myself for doing that. I did do enough. I got to that point. Okay, now, we do something else. So you might be stressed out about wanting this one specific thing, but believe me, once you get that thing, it's going to be something else. I get so crazy about things sometimes. And it's like, yeah, that one thing that you do, you want to get it done, or you want to like add more onto your plate because you feel like you're not doing enough, but like there's always going to be more. So really just like live in the now and be proud of yourself and be like, tell yourself like, I am doing enough and this is going to get me to where I want to be. As long as what you're doing is going to get you to where you want to be, you're doing enough. Another thing, we're going to show up different every single day. We're not going to wake up feeling the same every single day. Your 100% today might not be your 100% tomorrow. Sometimes doing enough for the day is just doing your laundry. Sometimes doing enough for the day is just getting up and going outside and going on a walk. It's not always going to look the same, and I think that's important too. We don't always feel the same. Our circumstances aren't always the same. That would be incredible, but that wouldn't be the human experience. Some nights you don't get as much sleep. Some days you have more going on. Some days you're maybe sick. There's so many things that happen that alter how we feel every single day. So you can't expect to do the same exact things every single day at the same percentage, at the same energy level. You can't expect your days to look exactly the same. So you can't hold yourself to the same standard every single day. Like I said, like my version of success one day might be different than the next day. My version of a good day, my version of like a successful day of getting things done is going to look different. Like today, it's like I went to the gym, I did my classes, I packed for LA, and now I'm recording this episode. That's enough for me today. And I was like really stressed out about like all these million things I need to accomplish before I leave for LA. And it's like, why? I'm like, I didn't post on TikTok yesterday. I'm like stressed out. I'm like, now I need to post 15 videos today. No, Nicole, it's okay. Put like I have like a clear, like I tried to really today be like the 3 things that I want to accomplish: record an episode, pack, do my campaign. I did those 3. That's enough. Everything else is extra. If I have some extra time, I'll edit a video on TikTok and I will get to it eventually. But if I can't get things done, I can't sit here and stress myself out and rush and all this stuff. I did what I had to do. I did what was in my control. And tomorrow, now I'll have some free time on the plane. I can edit those extra videos that I didn't get to post or edit today. And that's just how things go. Like, that's just life. So just remember, your 100% one day is not going to be the same as your 100% the next day. We're different. We're different every single day. That kind of concludes this episode. I know it was a quick one. That I just want you all to know that if you're feeling good, you're doing enough. I would hate for you to be beating yourself up that you're not doing enough and not enjoying the moment or celebrating your little wins. I think that we need to start writing down every single day great things that happened to us and great things that we did, even if it's something so small. Like today, I accomplished this hot Pilates class that was so fucking hard, guys. I can't. The class was so hard. I got to hang out with some friends at the gym. I made a new friend. I did a really great leg day. Yeah, maybe I didn't get to edit my videos, but like, we have to start celebrating the little wins and really being grateful for those things. And I think a lot of the time, what is the best thing that like cures or just fixes so many like problems is gratitude. Practicing gratitude every single day. And when you practice gratitude, it's really hard to be angry or upset or feel like you're not doing enough when you're grateful for every little thing. Like today, it's like I maybe have not been able to do much today, but what I did today was I went to the gym and I was able to move my body, and I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm appreciative that I had the free time to, spend the extra time in the gym. Or yeah, like I might be stressed out about going to LA and having to do all this stuff before I do that trip, but how about the fact that I get to go to LA and I get to see my best friend? Like, I'm so grateful for that I'm able to just take 10 days off to go to LA and New York. I get to take 10 days away from Miami to celebrate Livy and enjoy California and enjoy New York and go on my friend's bachelorette trip. Like, I get to do that. And I'm sitting here stressed out about some videos. Sometimes that's not what the doctor called for. If you practice gratitude all the time, I think it can really bring you back to reality and in your present body and in the now, and you can just appreciate those things. And that goes really for rest too. Flight's delayed. It's like, okay, well, I'm just grateful that I'm safe and that I have some extra time now to do this, or maybe I can grab some food now. I'm just happy that I get to get on this plane today and go to where I need to go. And guess what? In a month from now, you're not really going to care about the fact that you had to sit an extra 2 hours in that lounge. It might be annoying, but it's like, just be grateful that you get to do that and that you're there in that moment. So just know that you are doing more than enough. And I want to remind you guys to rest. And that's something that I'm working on. And I'm sure if I struggle with it, you guys also struggle with it. So that's why I'm here to remind you. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Nicole Doyan, Snapchat Nicole Doyan. I'm really on my Snapchat game, guys. I have so much fun on Snapchat. So please follow me on there. Support your girl. YouTube Nicole Doyan and TikTok Nicole_Doyan. And leave me a review and a 5-star rating if you feel so inclined, or a little comment, say hi on YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I love you all so much, and we will chat soon. Bye.